Skyblock, one of Minecraft's oldest and most well-known challenges. Going through many iterations throughout the years, developing alongside Minecraft, only increasing the depth of what you can achieve in a Skyblock world. Welcome to the newest update of one of Minecraft's most infamous challenges, as well as a personal favorite. Welcome to Skyblock Infinite. I started this 100-day journey by punching what grass was on my starting island, getting a seed and a few flowers before opening the single chest that lay awaiting for me, containing both a lava bucket as well as a block of ice which could be used to create a simple cobblestone generator. But before I would be able to use this and have virtually unlimited cobblestone, I would have to do some simple digging in preparation to make this very simple yet crucial achievement. With the cobblestone generator now made, I would need a wooden pickaxe to make use of it, but the one and only tree that I had access to was at the very edge of the island, and there was no chance of me risking losing any of the wood, because only losing one log could be game-changing this early into the world. This being said, I used 5 of the 7 dirt I had collected while making the cobblestone generator to create a small platform around the tree, ensuring I was safe to mine some of the logs. Even with the dirt in place, I still had to be careful with how many logs I mined, as I would still need a larger platform to ensure I get all the saplings possible, as not getting one could end the world before it even begins. With a few logs gathered, ensuring to leave the top log as this would prevent the leaves from decaying, I was able to create a crafting table as well as a wooden pickaxe, allowing me to mine that precious cobblestone. I even decided to mine the dirt under the cobblestone and replace it with a wooden plank. That way I could just hold my mouse button. Hey, don't judge me, I'm lazy. Using the lazy man's mining technique of simply just holding down my left click, I gathered what I thought would be a decent enough amount of cobblestone in order to finish off the sapling catching platform. This definitely wasn't anything special. I mean, all I really had enough cobblestone for was to add a few extra layers of cobblestone slabs around the tree's leaves, in hopes of getting a sapling. Unfortunately, I was just shy of the amount that I needed, so I promptly finished that. Then, the moment of truth. I broke the final log, fingers crossed that I would get a sapling. Otherwise, it would be all over. Fortunately enough, while waiting, mining cobblestone, it happened. The sole thing that would allow this journey to continue. I got the lifeblood of any Skyblock world. A sapling. It felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. But, did you really expect me not to get one? I mean, come on. I gotta add some suspense. Now with the sapling replanted, I would once again use the lazy man's mining technique, holding my left click button as cobblestone appeared in front of me, as I had a goal in mind. I wanted to create a platform under my starting island that I would be able to use to collect a majority of the dirt that it contained. Now, I would have to make sure I keep some of the grass blocks around, as this would allow me to spread grass later on. I once again failed at getting a good estimate of just how many blocks I would need to completely encase the bottom of the island. So, once again I returned to the cobblestone generator. Now at this point, you're probably starting to sense a theme. Don't worry, as we progress through the world, we won't have to go back and forth between this farm nearly as much. But, for now, it's the reality of what we have to do starting out a Skyblock world. Continuing to work on the platform after yet another short lazy man cobblestone mining session. Whew, that's a mouthful. I was able to get the blocks that I needed in order to finish wrapping the island with a platform, ensuring I was able to get all the dirt blocks that we had available to us, as it would be a while before we'd be able to get any significant amount of additional dirt blocks. With the platform finished, I was able to start with the process of recreating the cobble generator. Unfortunately, I did lose a block of dirt due to losing focus and not picking up the lava before mining a dirt block right next to it. It isn't the end of the world, but it did sting a little if I'm being honest. Following the recreation of the cobblestone generator, I was able to start the process of fully removing the dirt blocks from the island. Luckily enough, we didn't lose any more dirt, either to the void or to lava that I happened to forget to pick up. With the majority of the dirt blocks gathered, ensuring to leave some grass blocks so that we could always have a way of making it spread in the future. I filled in our upper platform where the dirt was, making sure to fill in the holes, and then started deconstruction of the original platform that was under the starting island. Because, well, to be honest, it was ugly. But before we would be able to finish this deconstruction, I would have to do our favorite task. Can you guys guess what it is? Yep, we had to mine some more cobblestone, as we were completely out and my pickaxe was on the verge of breaking. But following this brief cobble mining session, to ensure we wouldn't have to go back to dirty wooden tools, we would finish our task of deconstructing the lower platform. With the lower platform fully removed, we made an almost security blanket-like structure for the remaining grass blocks. This way, when we would have to inevitably mine them, we would have 100% certainty that we would be able to retrieve them. Then we once again got to do our favorite task, mining cobblestone. However, this mining session would be a bit longer than the rest, as we were planning to go to one of the outer islands, only being interrupted by a tree that had grown, which came at perfect timing as we were running critically low on our wood supplies. So much so that we had to break the first logs with our fists, as we didn't even have enough sticks to craft an axe. Once again, returning to our infinite cobblestone block once the tree was fully harvested. About 4 stacks of cobblestone later, which I think is a pretty respectable amount, it was time to set out to our first of the outer islands, crafting cobblestone slabs to be as efficient as possible with our supplies, and set out on our way towards the Spruce Island. Now that we are heading out to our first island other than our starter island, I guess it would be a good time to fully explain what Skyblock Infinite has to offer. So unlike most Skyblock worlds in the past, where the world is map-based, meaning every map was the same, Skyblock Infinite does something quite unique by not using a map download for the world, but rather a data pack that gets applied to the world, allowing the world to be seed-based, allowing each and every person who plays to have a different experience based on the seed, as islands and structures spawn randomly around the world. Skyblock Infinite also has a classic islands game mode, where the base islands are in a set pattern and a set distance away from the starting island, while maintaining the randomness of Minecraft's natural structure generation. So this being said, in the world we are playing in, islands spawn at a set distance from the player's starting island, but structures such as nether fortresses, amethyst geodes, strongholds, and even ancient cities spawn where they would in a normal Minecraft world. With that out of the way, we had made it to the Spruce Island, built up a platform to catch any potential saplings that were to fall from the spruce tree, and then I chopped to my heart's content all the way down, even breaking all of the leaves in order to get the saplings as fast as possible. But before I would head back home, I made sure to plant one of the spruce saplings back down on the island. This would ensure that even if I fell, I would still have a way of getting more spruce wood in the future. I was thankful for this fact when on the way home, a zombie blocked the path between me and my island. Luckily, he wasn't the hardest thing to deal with, as I was just able to place a few blocks to the side of him and knock him off the bridge. Thankfully enough, I made it back home without falling into the void, even with the zombie trying to eat my brain, and was able to deposit all the materials from the Spruce Island into our chests. But hey, better to be safe than sorry, am I right? And good thing I got back to my island when I did. A skeleton spawned what would have been between me and my island right after I deposited all the items I had just received. But I also wasn't going to risk letting it come into my island and try and kill me, so I had the bright idea of building a fence gate on the bridge, that way it would be accessible by me and not by the pesky, hostile mobs. After blocking the path of the bridge, I decided to start building an expansion to my platform in order to prepare for large spruce trees, making an area with slabs that stretched at least 5 blocks in each direction from the center. I even future-proofed the dirt I would be using for the tree by adding a safety net of cobblestone under it. Now, what good would this platform be if I wasn't going to start planting spruce saplings on it? So of course I did that, followed by crafting a furnace. Crafting this furnace would allow me to smelt logs into charcoal, which could be used to make torches and light up the platform. But since the spruce tree had yet to grow, we would once again have to pick up our pickaxe and mine some cobblestone. Now, before I could really mine too much cobblestone though, I was distracted by a spider, and I wanted to kill it. Now, the spider didn't put up too much of a challenge, and did give us at least a string that we could potentially use later for some crafting. With the string from the spider, our chest was completely full, so I went ahead, quickly made an additional chest, and once again, started mining that damn cobblestone block. I see this dang cobblestone block in my dreams now. However, once again, I would get distracted. About 50 blocks into the session, as our first spruce tree had grown on our island, so I instantly went to chop that down instead. I even broke what leaves I could reach, just to speed up the process that little bit more. And as to what I did next, do I even need to say? I think the footage speaks for itself. This mining session was by far the longest we had done so far in this world, mining just under 6.5 stacks worth of cobblestone, bringing our grand total to just under 9 stacks. Using 3 stacks of the cobblestone that we had mined, I crafted slabs, in order to bridge to the next island, the Mangrove Swamp. Now, I'm not going to bother showing you me bridging over the void to this island, but I will show you the unexpected thing that we found once we made it to this island. Water. Now, you may be wondering, hey, Noisy, why is water so important? Well, the answer is very simple. If you can get your hands on 2 water source blocks, you can make an infinite water source. This being said, I rushed back to my island where I got slightly distracted by placing a fence gate on the path that I had just created, as well as by a tree that had grown while doing this. But this distraction was short-lived, and I continued back to the island to pick up that precious water. Arriving at the island, I picked up some of the water using the bucket I had brought over. I also picked up a mangrove I don't know how you say it. This way I had an option of at least planting it if I ever wanted to. Returning to the island, I instantly started working on an infinite water source. This way I would never have to worry about the water again. Now this was a big step for the world. Having an infinite amount of water could open a vast array of opportunities in the future. But as for now, it just meant the start of another cobblestone mining session, which I'm not even going to bother showing you. However, what I will show you is the amount of cobblestone we had after this mining session, and it totaled to over 9 stacks, not including what we still had in slabs. Speaking of slabs, we used the pre-crafted slabs to make our way over to the jungle island. However, once we made it to the jungle island, I noticed that there was a melon on the island, which would open up a food option for us. Not to mention an additional wood type as well as cocoa beans, which, to be honest, aren't super useful, but hey, you never know. Harvesting the melon, it actually gave us 7 melon slices, which is the max amount you can get without fortune. Lucky me, right? Returning home with the melon, I proceeded to continue with the trend of placing a fence gate on every bridge that I make in order to reduce the chance of mobs getting onto my island. On top of this, I also continued another trend. Yeah, I hate cobblestone now. Luckily, it wasn't a super long session, mining just over 3 stacks before the pickaxes that I had crafted had broken. But there was a reward for me at the end of this mining session. Our first large spruce tree. This would provide us with a sufficient amount of wood for a while. Yes, the pun was intended. Once I had finished chopping down the spruce tree, I decided that it would be a good idea to expand the tree farm, adding another spot to grow large spruce trees, as we now had the saplings to accommodate it. While working on the island expansion, another large spruce tree grew. So being the completely reasonable human that I am, it was the first thing I set out to do after finishing the platform. With both of these spruce trees cut down, I would definitely feel more comfortable with the position that we were establishing for ourselves on our resource department. And although I know this is a pretty decent amount of spruce wood, I also knew that we were going to need much more, as I planned for it to be one of the primary blocks of our main base on these 100 days. Editing Noisy here. If I see this guy go mining for cobblestone one more time, I'm going to go crazy. I'm running out of things to say about it. On the morning of day 6, I decided it would be a good idea to double the size of the tree farm, adding spots for 2 more large trees. Now this doesn't seem like much, but this would effectively double the rate at which we could gather wood. Now, I say effectively because I still have to chop the trees down, so it doesn't necessarily 100% double my tree rates. With the spruce tree farm at what would be its final form, I would pretty much exclusively mine cobblestone and chop trees for the next 20 minutes. Which I'm just not even going to bore you guys with, but if you see a jump on the day counter and in my resources, that is why. At the end of this 20-minute session, I would effectively get into this routine of building a simple water and redstone-less mob farm, originally designed by Mango, during the day, and repeating what I had done for the past 20 minutes at nighttime. But this routine didn't set in until I almost got caught out by some phantoms.
Phantoms, no. Oh crap, I don't have run. No, that could have been really bad.
Thankfully, I was able to survive this phantom attack without too many issues. But oh boy, did this scare me. So I finished this night by starting the routine that I had previously mentioned. And when morning struck, I got hard to work on this mob farm. Now there were a few primary reasons for this mob farm. First off, bones would help us a lot by allowing us to grow crops whenever we needed them. We could also get lucky drops from zombies consisting of carrots and potatoes, and even some iron ingots. While these are both good reasons, they weren't the main goal of this mob farm. The main goal of this mob farm was to capture a witch as well as 2 zombie villagers that we could use to get our hands on villagers later down the line. Now, you may be curious on how I'm going to get villagers from a witch and a few zombies. Well, I can't. At least yet. I will have to stand within 3 blocks of a witch and hope for a 25% chance for the witch to throw a weakness potion at me, and in the process, splashing on the zombies that would have to be near me. Once the zombies are hit with weakness, I would give them a golden apple and they will start violently shaking. This is good. All I would have to do is wait. But, as you may know, we don't have any gold yet, so this would have to wait. Finishing up the mob farm by placing a few trapdoors to reduce the visibility that the mobs would have on me. Then, leaving the area. Both to A, chop a tree down, and B, allow mobs to spawn so that I could kill them when I came back. Expecting finding and capturing these mobs was going to take a while, I decided that it would be a good idea to widen the path, just in case my hand ever slipped or anything, as walking over 1 block wide bridges in the middle of the void is extremely nerve-wracking. Crafting a wooden sword and mentally preparing myself to try and grind out these mobs, I was extremely relieved when I noticed that on my first time killing mobs in my mob farm, there was a witch.
Wait, there's a witch! There's a witch in here. Hold up. Holy crap, there's a witch. There's a witch. That is big.
I really don't know the chances of this happening, but it's gotta be rare. If you know the chances, let me know. Knowing that there was a witch already so close to being in my grasp, I slowly killed off all the other mobs in the killing chamber, and did this how you normally would, just at a slower pace, because on top of weakness potions, witches can also heal themselves with healing potions, so I knew there wasn't much risk of actually losing this witch, just like your mom, being a whale. With most of the mobs killed, I knew that I would need a place to store the witch and zombies that I got. This being said, I expanded the platform that the mob farm sat on before killing the remainder of the mobs. With the mob chute clear, I made sure that no new mobs could fall down by placing cobblestone in the mob chute. Made a small shack that the witch would be put into so that it couldn't throw potions at me when I wasn't expecting it. Then came one of the more dangerous parts of this process. I had to let the witch out, capture it with a boat, and bring it into the shack I had just made. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this all at once and had to flee to heal, getting down to half a heart because of poison. Once healed though, I was able to go back and finish transporting the witch into the shack and sealing it off. Then rebuilt the parts of the mob farm that I had to destroy in the process. With our witch fully captured, it was now time to start hunting for the zombie villagers. This would be a bit more difficult, not only because we need 2 of them, but also because they didn't have the same type of healing effect that the witch does. However, in this process of trying to find the 2 zombie villagers, we had gotten one of the lucky drops that I spoke of earlier. A carrot.
Ooh, a carrot! I didn't even realize I got it. Wait, what? That's big. Now we have food.
Now, even with the nerfs that have been done to carrots over the years, they were still our best food source option at this point in time. This is due to how easily obtainable they are with any sort of bone supply, which we pretty much had infinite if I kept killing mobs. But I had made a mistake. After farming a few carrots, I realized that I never lit up the top of the witch shack, and mobs spawn like crazy in Skyblock worlds due to limited spawning spaces. Luckily, I had gotten a bow from the skeletons that I had killed, and used this to dispatch the island invaders.
Oh, crap.
With all of the mobs eliminated, I rushed over to this shack. This way, no more would be able to spawn, and I lit up the area with a torch. With this issue solved, I returned to the tedious grind of waiting for mobs to spawn, killing them, running back, and mining cobblestone where I would wait for mobs to spawn once again.
That's a zombie villager. Yes!
Now, we once again had gotten pretty lucky, and it was only a grand total of 6 minutes from the time that we had put the witch into the shack to finding our first zombie villager. This is including everything that happened in the video since we captured the witch. Forced to kill all other mobs in the killing chamber with an axe to ensure that we don't kill the precious zombie villager, we would find yet another gem.
Oh, potato! Let's go!
A potato. This would pretty much make our current food source useless, at least as a food for us, as baked potatoes both fill more hunger and give more saturation than carrots. Our newly found food source in our inventory, we still had a task at hand, capturing the zombie villager for future conversion. But before I could capture the zombie villager, I needed to do yet another platform expansion. But this didn't take long as it was a relatively small expansion, only a few blocks. But with this small distraction dealt with, I was ready to capture the zombie. I did this in the same way which I did the witch. Broke part of the platform and had a boat ready nearby to lure the zombie into. Now, he got it in the end, but he wasn't the sharpest crayon in the box. Capturing the zombie made me realize that even after this last expansion, our platform was just not going to be enough for the 2 zombies and to leave space for me to walk around the mob farm without getting hit. This being said, I just added another small expansion, but at the same time making sure that the zombies would still have a block over their head so they wouldn't burn. Now that we had adequate space for this operation, it came time for the painful part. I had to hop into the boat with the zombie and steer him where I want him, but he would be able to hit me the entire time. And remember, I don't have any armor, so this is gonna hurt. Luckily, I didn't have to transport him far, so I was able to do it in a single trip. Then, broke the blocks that were blocking the mob chute, effectively turning the mob farm back on. As with every block I broke, creepers fell, and with this design, when crouching next to the mob chute, creepers can see you and explode. Once the mob farm had been repaired, I decided that it would be a good idea to make use of our newly acquired potato. Planting it, using bone meal, then breaking and placing it as fast as I could. And raw potatoes aren't any good, so of course I cooked them. Finishing this all up, it was time to return to the process of killing mobs and waiting in hopes of getting another zombie villager. Which, I'm not going to bore you with that whole process. This time I didn't get so lucky though. Taking me around 15 minutes of killing mobs, waiting for mobs to spawn while mining cobblestone or chopping trees, and then killing some more mobs, before I would see the next zombie villager. Thankfully enough, when the zombie villager did drop, there weren't too many other mobs in the chute, allowing me to easily wipe them all out with an axe. And once again, blocking up the chute so that other mobs couldn't drop on our heads while transporting the zombie villager. This didn't take long, which would allow me to proceed with doing the same procedure of capturing the last zombie villager with this zombie villager. Crafting a boat, breaking the platform, hopping into the boat with said zombie, and driving it to the transformation point. Now having both the zombie villagers as well as the witch, we had the majority of the mission of getting villagers complete. We just needed one more crucial step to fully complete this goal. Gold. Thankfully for us, one of the items in our starter chest was 10 obsidian, which just happens to be enough to get us to the nether. So that's just what we set out to do. Now, of course, I needed a place to put the nether portal. So I started yet another island expansion, making sure to have blocks all around the portal just in case. This way I don't fall into the void with potentially critical items. Now, this wasn't some massive platform expansion, just a total of 6 blocks off the side of the mob farm. Just enough to have a comfortable platform the whole way around the nether portal, just to ensure safety. I even made sure to fill in the corners of the portal as well as the interior with blocks. Because if I misplaced one of these obsidian blocks, it would be a devastating failure, and would result in a lot of extra work. Luckily, it wouldn't come to that though, as I thankfully didn't misclick. With all of the obsidian now placed, it was time to start working on how we were going to light the portal. However, we couldn't use the standard method of using flint and steel, as we had no way of getting gravel. So we would have to improvise, using lava. We would force fire to spread onto wooden blocks that we placed directly behind the portal, which would cause a fire to light in between the portal's frame, effectively lighting the portal for us. But this was a risky endeavor, as the platform that this would sit on is wooden, meaning a lack of attention could result in a fire that I would be unable to put out. So I built a small area of cobblestone around where the lava would lie. After I had a place to safely put the lava, it was time to move it, temporarily picking up the lava and transporting it over to its new temporary home. Now it was just a waiting game. Waiting for the lava to set fire to the portal. I would kill some mobs, chop a spruce tree, and kill some more mobs before the portal was finally lit. Realizing that the portal was lit, it was time to prepare to travel to the nether. Grabbing a bunch of building materials and replacing the lava in its normal spot, I was ready to venture into the depths, going through the portal. I had no idea what I'd find on the other side. As soon as I was in, I started building out the platform, as there was barely anything to stand on, and I did not want to risk falling off the ledge. But it wouldn't be long until I would see a bastion in the near distance, which was already infested with mobs seconds into being here. And to be honest, I don't know if I could have had a more clear warning about leaving spawnable areas for mobs than the sight of this infestation of piglins. Like, come on, how do you expect me to do anything with that? I don't even have armor. I guess you could say I was slightly intimidated. Dealing with the intimidation, like a real man, I expanded the main nether island out and even started the bridge to the opposite side of the bastion. Now, this was for a few reasons. None of them at all were intimidation based. Trust me. But the real reason is I wanted to build a mob spawner. And the closer I am to that death trap, the less mobs that would spawn where I actually want them to. Now, of course I'd run into some issues. First off, while building out the bridge where I planned to make the mob farm, I wasn't paying any attention to the biome that I was in, going as far as building a sizable platform for the mob farm. I even took the time to make it all spawn proof for mobs, or so I thought, and even added gas prevention, because that's the last thing I needed. Was a gas shooting fireballs at me. I even began building the mob farm, getting about 50% of the way through its construction. And that's when I finally realized, that I had built the mob farm for piglins in a Soul Sand Valley. And guess what doesn't spawn in a Soul Sand Valley? Yep, you guessed it. At least I hope. I already told you the answer. However, if you were that clueless, the answer was piglins. Piglins don't spawn in the Soul Sand Valley. But that's okay, right? No. Because the main reason we're in the Nether is for gold. And guess what drops gold? I swear, if you don't know the answer this time. That's right, piglins. Good job, Timmy. Yes, piglins drop gold. But since piglins don't spawn in the Soul Sand Valley, making this farm useless. Yep, 100%. Entirely useless. So I tore it down. And me realizing this is honestly a funny thing to watch. 1 second I'm building, the next I snap my mouse around to look, tap F3 to make sure I'm actually in a Soul Sand Valley, and then start tearing it down. Kind of funny if you ask me. Sorry, I just had to add it in. Now that the mob farm had been removed, I realized something else. Mobs don't care about light level while in the Nether. I've been playing this game for as long as I remember, and I never knew this. So noticing it, I quickly started to fill in the platform with bottom slabs, ensuring that mobs could not spawn. Luckily, there was only one skeleton that I had to contend with in order to fill in both the bridge as well as the main platform. So, with that skeleton dealt with, after completely juking the brakes off of it while shooting at me, it was time to fill in the rest of the platforms. This was a relatively quick process, as I already had the base layer down. I could pretty much just spam the rest of the blocks. Once the platform was actually mob-proofed, I decided that it would be a good idea to finish bridging to the island closest to the platform that I'd previously made. I don't really know why I came over this direction, but while I was here I picked up the nether mushrooms as well as some of the nether plants. Yeah, I guess there wasn't really a reason for me heading over here. I don't know why I did that. Now, I'm sure that you guys are tired of watching me build the same mob farm time and time again. So this time, we're just going to speed through it until I ran out of resources. Had to go back to the overworld, but we're going to use the power of editing and boom! The farm is done, ladies and gentlemen. With the gold farm done, it was finally time to get the gold that we have been needing for so long, killing the piglins that had fallen into the chute while working on the farm, and even getting my first gold ingot, which only has a drop rate of 2.5%. Now, after I killed all the mobs in the mob chute, it was time to make a platform 24 blocks away from the mob farm. That way we could actually run it, and that's just what I did. I would kill the mobs in the chute, run back to the newly created platform and wait for about 30 seconds. Then run back over to the mob farm, kill what mobs had fallen into the chute, and repeated this process for a decent bit. In fact, I repeated this process until I had all the gold that I needed to make those beautiful, succulent, golden apples. With the golden apples obtained, it was finally time to unbox the witch and hope that she would throw a weakness potion on me, splashing both me, as well as the zombie villager standing behind me. Now the first attempt didn't go so hot, getting hit with poison early on and slowly ticking down to a point where I would eventually have to flee. Now, during this first attempt, I had learned that the witch was actually throwing the potions well over the zombie villagers most of the time. So on my second attempt, I added a back wall behind the zombies, that way the potion was less likely to fly over them. Once again though, the witch hit me with a poison potion early on and I was forced to flee. It was on the third attempt that I decided it would be a good idea to hop into a boat with the witch and steer it even closer to the zombie villagers. But still, wasn't able to get the witch to throw a weakness potion at me. Once again, forced to retreat and heal up using my potatoes. But everything changed on attempt 4 when the witch finally threw a weakness potion at me, splashing the zombies in the process. Noticing this, I rushed to give them the golden apples. Just in time as well, as I was forced to flee once again, but the job was done. The zombies were now transforming into villagers. This was a massive achievement for the world. Now once I had healed from the fourth and final attempt, I moved the witch back into her box and blocked her back up, just in case something were to go wrong and we would once again require her services. With the zombies being cured, it was now a waiting game, so I passed the time through various means. I started this by killing some mobs that had been piling up in the mob chute, doing some chest organization, getting pestered by phantoms of course, and that's when it happened. I got the achievement, the cure, meaning that the zombies had been converted into villagers. With this task being complete, it was now time to move them to a more suitable spot on the island. So I broke down the temporary wall and transported the first villager to a more central location on the island. Of course, there wasn't only a crafting table on our way, but there was also a phantom being a pest like they always are. Who voted for this damn thing? Like, they should be banned from any future mob vote. Thankfully, it didn't take me long to deal with, and I was shortly able to return to transporting the villager. With the villager at his temporary home, I crafted a composter and employed him as a farmer, and fired him just to rehire him and fire him again, as he didn't want to give me the trays I wanted. I did this a total of 11 times, until I finally got the carrot and potato trade. With a trade that we could actually use, it was time to make use of the benefits of employing a villager. So, I used some of the bones that I had collected thus far, speed farming carrots to trade with the villager, totaling just under 4 stacks of carrots that we could trade for our first emeralds. Which, arguably, yes, we didn't have a use for them yet, but it wouldn't be long until we would have some major uses for these emeralds. While trading with the villager, I had even forgotten that I had an extra stack of carrots that I could use to trade. This would bring us up to a grand total of 14 emeralds, which, let's be honest, isn't a ton, but hey, it's a pretty good start. With these 14 emeralds in my inventory, I had gotten a taste of what it was going to be like to be rich. So I sent out, once again, farming carrots to trade with the villager. Got distracted by a bunch of mobs in the mob chute and returned to farming carrots, getting just over 4 stacks this time, which I would trade with the villager, and returned to farming to finish off the rest of the bone meal that I had. And after trading the final carrots, I ended up with 33 emeralds. Emeralds deposited, I decided to head back to the nether to farm gold. Now, during this session, I was actually trading the gold that I had received with the piglins, acquiring various materials, including some obsidian, quartz, and soul sand. But most importantly, I got a few pieces of string, some leather, and some gravel. Now, you might be a bit confused as why these items were so important, but I think I'm gonna make you wait for the answers. Just know that each one of these serves a critical purpose. Let's see if you can figure them all out before I reveal them. Now, you're going to have to be quick, as I was already going to use the first of these materials. I was going to use the string to craft a loom. Now, you may be thinking as to why I would need a loom. Can't they only be used to craft banners? And the answer to that would be no. A loom is one of the workstations that a player can use to give villagers a job. Using the loom, you can get a shepherd villager, which would be very useful for our causes. Looking at all the potential trades that a shepherd has, you may be able to tell my intention. Leveling the shepherd to level 3 would allow me to trade some of the emeralds that I have already had for beds, which would be another big advancement for this world. Not only as this would allow me to get rid of the pesky phantoms, it would also allow me to breed the villagers using the excess carrots that I had. Now that we had the shepherd villager, it was time to trade with them to unlock the bed trade. Buying shears to get them to level 2, and then yellow wool to get it to level 3, for only a total of 22 emeralds. Now, this was 2/3 of our total, but like I said before, this would open up almost an infinite amount of possibilities for us. I even tried to speed up the process of getting iron by smelting the shears down, but unfortunately this didn't work, like it does for armor. Oh, and of course, I bought a few beds with my emeralds. With the beds acquired, I decided that it would be a good idea to chop even more trees, as I would need the planks for both building blocks, as well as I would start to use logs for emeralds. Now most of you probably know how this works, but once I breed the villagers, I will turn one of the baby villagers into a fletcher, which trades sticks for emeralds. Following the tree chopping session, we were going to use the second of the resources that we gathered from the nether, and use up the gravel that we had got from the piglin trading. Mixing 2 pieces of gravel with 2 pieces of dirt, we would get 4 pieces of coarse dirt, which, as coarse dirt, is kinda useless. But once you either till or use the right click function of a shovel, it turns back to dirt, effectively doubling the amount of dirt that you had originally. Pretty big if you ask me, considering that we started with only 81 blocks of dirt, not including the extra islands. I even used some of this newly acquired dirt to make a small farm where I could plant my sugarcane. But I also needed a place for my villagers to grow up. So that's just what I did, and started making a very rudimentary villager breeder / trading hall. It totally wasn't just a box that I would end up shoving all my villagers into. And once this box was completed, I would finally give my villagers the roof that they deserved, as they would be the main thing that makes me rich in this world. I even showed them so much care that I decided to drive them in myself. Totally, not by force. It's so ugly. Why is it so ugly? I'm gonna have to revamp like this whole island later, guys, because as a builder it's gonna drive me insane living in a place like this. And as you can tell, the early game squalor that we were living in was starting to set in, as all around me there was nothing but void and ugly buildings. But this feeling, this need for beauty would have to wait to be satisfied, in the name of progression. And thus, I farmed some more carrots to give to my villagers in order to make them breed. Allow them to breed. Totally. No force was needed. 100% voluntary. Although, they didn't seem to like the carrots, because they still weren't breeding. I don't know if I didn't give him enough or what was causing this. So I decided to farm some wheat, make some bread, and give this to them instead, hoping that this would allow them to breed. And in the process of waiting to see if this bread would make the magic happen, we had a baby zombie escape the confines of our mob chute. And to be honest, I still have no idea how he even got out while editing.
How did you get out of there? Wait, what? Where did he come from, bro? Huh? That's not concerning at all.
And after dealing with baby Houdini, I decided it was time to get some better weaponry. So, I made a grindstone for our new baby villager, meaning once he grew up, he would have a job. I even decided to add on to the sugarcane farm with a wheat attachment. That way we could breed villagers at an even faster pace, and farm some more carrots in order to get back some of the emeralds that we had used earlier. Now, unfortunately, I did forget to record the first bit of day 22, but thankfully I didn't do too much of anything new. Only farming some more wheat, placing more beds, ensuring that we could further breed the villagers, and noticed just as I was about to buy the first axes from our new weaponsmith. Not only would these be our first iron tools, but they would also act in a way that would allow us to generate more emeralds once we had another villager. And shortly after obtaining our first iron tools, I saw what could be a game-changing mob spawn on my island, an iron golem, meaning that we now had a source of iron. Even if it's a slow one at the moment, this could help us leaps and bounds in progression. Killing our first iron golem of the world, he dropped a total of 4 iron ingots, which may not seem like much, but will add up if we continue to eliminate iron golems whenever we see them. But even with the excitement of seeing an iron golem, there was still work to do. So I proceeded back to the weaponsmith villager, bought a few more axes, and got him to level 2. Now, this wouldn't be a huge upgrade for us at the moment, as we wouldn't have anywhere near enough iron to continue to level this villager up, but we now had a goal to work towards. So, while waiting for more iron golems to spawn, I killed some mobs, chopped some trees, and even decided to make a Fletcher. That way we could get more emeralds in the future.
Okay, we need a Fletcher. That'll definitely help us get the emeralds that we need for whatever we need to use them for. So, we need to get a Fletcher. Now, to get a Fletcher, we just need some gravel, which we already have. We just need to turn this into flint, thankfully, which we've already gotten one. Cool.
It then took me a few more attempts to get the second piece of flint that would be required for the fletching table, but eventually I got that too. With the flint gathered, we of course made the fletching table, brought it into the villager hall, placed it, and the villagers were more than happy to take the new job as a Fletcher.
And now we are virtually printing money. All we need is some logs, and then to come to this guy, and we get pretty much infinite money just from sticks. Nice. Which we can then trade for an axe again. Infinite money. All we need to put in is the time.
And that's just what we did. For the next hour, we did a mix of chopping trees, killing iron golems, trading with villagers, and even killing mobs. And in this time, we made a pretty significant amount of progress. But I didn't want to bore you guys with a bunch of tree chopping. So I decided to give it to you in the form of a 96 times speed time lapse. Now, don't worry, I'll be sure to point out the biggest highlights of what we did after the rest of the time lapse. Over the course of this time lapse, we made a more permanent way of killing iron golems. Killed a total of 15 iron golems. Chopped a total of 21 large spruce trees. Used iron to upgrade the weaponsmith. Used iron to upgrade the weaponsmith again, unlocking a decent diamond axe.
Holy. Yo, that's big.
Bought the diamond axe. And made another Fletcher villager. And now that you guys are caught up, it was time to start working on getting a librarian villager that would sell both a bookshelf as well as a looting 3 book. So I made a lectern, which I totally didn't have to look up the recipe for, because I forgot that it was crafted with slabs instead of actual blocks. Luckily, it didn't take me too long to figure out my mistake. Then it was time for the tedious task of actually getting the villager that we needed, which let's just say took way too long. And when I say it took too long, I actually ended up giving up on the 156th villager when I got a 16 emerald mending trade that also had a bookshelf.
Oh, I'm mending for 12. You know what? I think I have to take this. That's such a good trade. I think I have to take this because that's a bookshelf and trade and a mending. I can't turn that down at that point.
You could definitely just say I was tired of breaking and placing this dang workstation. And I truly wish I was kidding about the 156 attempts. I sat through the whole thing and counted each one while editing. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. Since we had given up on the looting 3 book for the moment, I would just have to proceed without it for some time. Although having it would make getting gold much easier. It also wasn't fully necessary for the moment, as we did have some gold left over, which we took back into the nether, threw it into the chute, and went to the mob spawning platform and waited for the gold to be picked up and traded.
That should be... Oh, our inventory's kind of full. I forgot to get rid of these sticks. Oh well. That should have been enough time to for them to go through all the gold here. So we shall see what we got here. Oh yeah, it was definitely enough time for them. Crap. Can we... Okay. Just drop all this stuff on the ground for now. Pick up what we can of this.
Picking up what items we could, we teleported back to the overworld, quickly dumped some of the items into a chest that we had nearby, and went straight back for our other items. Hey, don't judge me. Those sticks will turn into precious emeralds. After our short nether escapade, we got back to doing the regular chores around the base, consisting of killing mobs, breaking gravel for flint, crafting both a smithing table as well as yet another fletching table, placed both workstations hoping that a villager would take the jobs, but of course it was night, so they wanted to be stubborn. Bought more beds as I realized I was running out of job-free villagers, chopped some trees, farmed a bunch of carrots to give to the villagers, killed iron golems whenever they spawned, actually gave the carrots to the villagers, did some stick trading. See, I told you those sticks we went back for would turn into emeralds. And lastly, had a very close call with an iron golem, but luckily survived on half a heart.
Oh! Okay.
And just finished him off with the bow.
Oh, that got way too close, bro. That got way too close.
Now with the overworld chores completed, it was once again time to head back into the depths and travel back to the nether. Once I got to the gold farm, killed the first batch of piglins, I heard a magma cube. And there was only one place it could be. In the farm. Now, this was bad because not only would it take spawnable space from the piglins, but it would also make it harder for them to path towards the killing chamber. So, I had to go inside of the mob farm and place slabs to block off the magma cubes from being able to spawn, resulting in a more efficient farm. With the newly improved farm, it was right back into the same old chores, consisting of pretty much the same stuff. Chopping trees, killing iron golems, farming mobs, some stick trading, but luckily this quote-unquote chore session wasn't nearly as long as the last. And let's be honest, at least it's not cobblestone mining like the beginning of this video. But with more chores done, it was finally time. I was gonna grind out getting that looting book that I wanted so badly earlier, and fingers crossed it wouldn't take as long or I might actually go insane. Fortunately, we didn't get too lucky. I actually did start to descend into madness by breaking and placing that dang lectern.
Give me what I need.
This may have actually been worse than all of the dang cobblestone mining. But we finally did get the villager that we had been searching for on the 103rd attempt.
Looting 2, yes, I almost broke it.
Alright, editing noisy here. When I'm saying it took 103 attempts, I'm not joking. Each one of these blue markers is a villager or a time that I broke the lectern and replaced it. Each and every single one of them. I wish I was joking. I legit sat here and watched all this and counted to 103. We got it on the 103rd villager. Dude, what the heck? Our luck with this was terrible.
It's a lucky win, buddy. Yes, we have looting. Big.
That is actually huge, bro.
That is actually massive. Hallelujah. We now have a looting sword. Yes. Yes, dude.
After a total of 259 attempts, we finally had the looting 3 sword that we had worked so hard for. And who would I be if I didn't immediately use it on an iron golem just to test and see how much better it would be? Now, one of the unfortunate things about this sword is that it actually has Bane of Arthropods on it, which vastly reduces the amount of damage that it would do compared to if it had, say, sharpness.
Oh my lord, that is so much. That's so nice to have. Oh, it's so nice. Yes. Yes, dude. I think we've got to do a little bit of gold farming now.
And after just a small amount of time, about 4 shoots worth of mobs, we had a total of 27 gold ingots, which may not seem like much, and let's be honest, it's not tons, but for the very small amount of time that we were here, I wouldn't say that it's too bad of an amount either. Following up the short gold farm test, I would also start to make use of the smithing table that we had made earlier, by trading with the toolsmith that had been employed by the workstation, which when leveled enough can provide the player with all sorts of diamond tools, including axes, which we already had, hoes, and even the coveted diamond pickaxe. This would allow us to progress past iron tools, making all of our future actions even faster. Continuing to trade with the toolsmith, we would first unlock an iron pickaxe, which I guess was good, but it wasn't what we were looking for. And who would I be if I could actually complete a task before starting a new one? So I placed down a blast furnace and started working on an armorer, using emeralds to buy our first pieces of armor. Now, we wouldn't keep this armor for long, but I was still excited to finally have some form of protection.
First pieces of iron armor, boys. We're getting there. We are getting there.
After getting an iron chestplate and leggings, we decided to get the armor to level 2 by buying iron leggings. Definitely wasn't cheap, as each pair only gave a bit of XP and cost 4 emeralds each. Luckily, for the next trade, we would be able to trade 1 emerald for some chainmail armor, which not only gave more HP, but also was way cheaper, so there were no complaints from me. Getting him to level 3 on the last pair of chainmail legs that he had, then unlocked his next trade, which was 1 emerald for a chain chestplate, which of course we ended up buying until the villager would once again level up, and that's when it happened.
And the first piece, oh, and they're both power 1. Nice, let's go, baby. First pieces of diamond armor. Let's go.
Yes, we now had diamond armor unlocked, but we had ran out of emeralds getting the armor to this point. So I grabbed some of the logs that I had previously gathered and traded sticks to the Fletcher villagers, which would give me enough emeralds for the diamond leggings. But at the current moment, we didn't have either the helmet or the chest plate unlocked. Luckily, that was an easy enough problem to solve. Just using the iron that I had gathered, I was able to trade it not only for more emeralds, but also to max out the armor of villager, unlocking both the trades we were still missing.
Unfortunately, the helmet and the chest plate aren't as good, but hey, it's full diamond armor. Boys and girls, we have full diamond armor. We looking good.
And now that we have full diamond armor, we can get back to what our actual goal was, and get the diamond tools that we wanted. trading a bit of iron to the toolsmith now as well to get him to the 4th level.
Now it's time for tools. We already have, most of the tools we need. But, hey, that's not as good. That's not as good. Why you do this to me? Makes me use more iron on emeralds, bruh. But, we now have a diamond pickaxe, ladies and gents. We have pretty much full diamond tools now, if we want to use them. Other than the hoe or shovel, we actually don't have either. We didn't get the shovel from the toolsmith this time, which is kind of unfortunate. We'll have to make another one at some point. But yeah, doing pretty good for on day 30. I mean, full diamond armor on day 30 in Skyblock, I think that's pretty decent so far. Alright, the next goal, now that we have full diamond armor, is going to be kind of a doozy. It's going to require a... What did I just break? A wheat. Okay, whatever. But it's going to take some time. We're going to have to spend a lot of time in the nether, just, farming for gold for the next plan we have, or to start the next plan we have. But yeah, let's kick into a montage of us farming the gold farm. So yeah, I'll see you guys there.
And to the nether we went. This was easily the longest nether trip that we had up to this point in the world, lasting just about an hour, where we expanded our platforms, farmed some gold of course. I even tried to make some type of piglin trading hole, but that didn't work fully as intended. So I ended up just tearing down most of that abomination of a structure and trading with them a little more manually. Now, like I said, one of our main reasons for being here was to farm gold, and to use said gold to trade with the piglins. So a decent amount of this time in the nether was just us sitting, waiting for the mob spawner to work. But we did get a large influx of gold when I decided to run over to the infested bastion and attempt to get the gold blocks from there, which thankfully went on without a hitch, as the gold was up on a raised platform away from all the piglins. But even after the large influx of gold, we would still be using the gold farm. Not only to get more gold, but also to give the piglins that we trapped enough time to sort through all the gold we had just given them, and give us those precious goodies in return for our efforts.
Not a bad haul.
And what would a good journey be without returning back home, with all the goodies and the memories that you had gained from your adventure? Once settled back in, inventory emptied from our journey, it was time to continue with our plan. We would craft all the gravel into dirt through the same process that we used earlier. Mixing gravel and dirt to make coarse dirt, placing the coarse dirt down, using a shovel to turn the coarse dirt into path blocks, mining the path blocks with a shovel, effectively doubling the amount of dirt we had. We did this process until we were out of gravel and had a bunch more dirt than when we began. Now that we had a bunch more dirt, it was time to start attempting to get grass to spread to some of it. By placing it near the grass blocks that we had left on our island from the very start of this world, would allow us not only to have more grass blocks, but also if we could ever get our hands on a silk touch tool, we would be able to easily move the grass blocks around the world anywhere we wanted. And that silk touch book is exactly what we started working towards. Using some sticks to trade for emeralds from our fletchers, using these emeralds to buy a bookshelf from our librarian, then using the bookshelf to create a lectern, which would be used to employ yet another villager as a librarian, so that we could cycle through the trades to get the silk touch book that we needed. With the previous attempts taking forever, I was mentally prepared for another grueling session of breaking and placing a lectern. But can you believe it? Our luck had turned around, and we got the silk touch book that we were looking for in only 7 attempts.
Yes, silk touch. Yes, that's actually what we needed. Let's go.
Then simply bought a bookshelf, broke it for books, and purchased the silk touch book. With the silk touch acquired, as well as the grass in the process of spreading, it was time to really begin the plan. We were going to make a large platform of dirt and use a few grass blocks to seed it all, so that we could have a chance of spawning various types of farm animals. But first, we needed to create a layer of spruce slabs. This way, the grass blocks would have something to rest on, so if we did ever need to move them, we could without risking losing any of the dirt. And with the spruce platform being laid, I decided it was time to make another toolsmith, which thankfully we were able to get to level 2, right from the start.
as he was trading an emerald for a stone pickaxe, which did nothing for us, but it allowed us to level him up pretty easily. Once level 2, we used iron to trade with him, to level him up once again. Unfortunately though, we completely ran out of iron, and he was only about 3/4 of the way leveled. But we got lucky, as while we were looking through all of our chests to see if I had any iron laying around, an iron golem spawned, dropping an additional 5 iron, and when combined with the 2 iron that we had left over, it was enough to get him to level 3. At level 3, he had an efficiency 2 and unbreaking 2 iron shovel, which we would buy both to level him up as well as to combine together. On top of combining the 2 shovels together, we could add the Silk Touch book as well, creating an efficiency 3 unbreaking 3 Silk Touch iron shovel. Yes, sadly it's iron, but it would do the job that it needed to do in moving the grass blocks. Now that we had the grass, we could start the dirt platform and have it turn into a grass platform over time. By placing a few grass blocks in the dirt, it'll spread to all the dirt blocks around it, giving us a small chance for farm animals to spawn. But we would still need a lot of dirt to actually fully complete this large dirt platform so that we could have a better chance of actually spawning said animals. But with our current supply of dirt expended, it was once again time to do some chores around the island, consisting of killing some iron golems, trading the iron with our new toolsmith, which actually leveled him up, unlocking an efficiency 3 and breaking 3 shovel, trading sticks with our fletchers, and even doing some cobblestone mining. Can you believe it? We returned to the cobblestone generator. Honestly never thought this day would happen again, due to all the terror that it caused last time. Once done mining a bit of cobblestone, it was once again time to go to the nether, where we would be farming gold for a decent amount of time. This would allow us to get gold, which indirectly turns into dirt. That feels really weird to say, turning gold into dirt. Usually it's the other way around, with like gold miners and stuff, but yeah, whatever. And after my revelation that I was turning gold into dirt and how weird that actually sounded, it was once again time for some normal chores around the base. Chopping trees, harvesting some more grass, villager trading, iron golem killing, even worked on leveling the toolsmith to max level, but was just short on iron. Just to return to the nether once again to farm that precious gold. And really, the only thing interesting that happened is when I decided to break the boat that my trading piglins were in, so that I could move them. Thankfully, I was able to grab the boat that they were resting in, using it to trap one of them. But the other was still chasing, so I had to quickly get another boat out of my inventory and try to trap the second one. Well, unluckily for me though, the first time he just went over the boat, but I was able to loop around and get him trapped. And now that the piglins were in separate boats and de-aggroed, I was able to safely transport them to the other side of the gold farm, where I would usually sit while waiting for mobs to fill into the mob chute. This way, I wouldn't have to worry about any mobs spawning on the bastion that was nearby, overall increasing the rates of my mob farm. While I was moving them though, something that I've never seen happened. And to be fair, I'm glad that I haven't experienced it before, because holy, is it annoying. The piglin that I was transporting just started yelling at the top of its lungs in my ears. See, I told y'all it was super annoying. Now, I spared y'all from a lot of it, so be thankful, because I had to listen to that for like a minute. Getting the first of the piglins to this area, I knew that I was going to have to extend this platform, so I did exactly that. And done. Nice. Now we just gotta get that other piglin over here. Running over and then boating over, nothing special happened. But I did have to listen to the piglin screams again, so I guess you could say that was fun. But I'll spare you guys' ears this time. With this new expansion complete, I returned to the overworld, turning the gravel into coarse dirt and then into dirt, which of course I saved some of the dirt. You see what I did there? Placing the rest down on the eventual animal farm. As you guys can tell, we're still going to need a lot of dirt to fill in the grass platform, so I once again set off to the nether to farm more gold. Now, I want to say sorry to everyone, as I don't know what was going through Recording Noisy's head, going back and forth between the nether and the overworld over 10 times in the span of a few hours. So I'm going to try my best to condense my absolute scatterbrained thoughts into an actually coherent story. And in order to keep it interesting, I'll only state anything new that was completed. And I'm pretty sure that you can assume what I did for the most part in between any of the new things that I did mention. Starting out what I guess I'll call the chore grind, I expanded the waiting/piglin trading area
adding not only more space to the platform, but adding better walkways and more storage. Followed by starting to expand the pathway to the eventual animal farm. Fixed the torch spam around the animal farm. Expanded the piglin trading platform even more. Got our first animals, which happened to be chickens, also confirming that the animal farm was starting to work.
Chickens! So they do spawn. Good to know. So mobs they are spawning here. We just need the sheep, not chickens. But I think we will take the chickens, maybe.
Made a small egg farm so that I would have a way of producing more chickens later on in the future. Found a wandering trader.
Hello, Mr. Wandering Trader. Do you have anything useful? Pot soul? It's kind of useful, I guess. I mean, we may as well. It's dirt. It is a form of dirt. And we need dirt bad, so. How much? 18? That's not great. Not great. But hey, it's 18 more dirt than what we had before.
Very gently removed the leads from his llamas. Finished the widening of the path to the new farm area. Added another fairly large section of wooden slabs to the other side of the grass platform. This would eventually turn into a tree farm, but that would have to wait. Used bone meal on the grass platform to try and get flowers. Didn't get the flowers I needed. Traveled to the swamp island to try there instead. This also didn't work. Traveled to the jungle island. And then started building towards the flower forest island. Underestimated how many blocks that I would need to get there. Chopped some of the jungle trees so that I would have enough to make it. Finally made it to the island. Bone mealed all the tall flowers there. Flattened the platform. Expanded the platform. Bone mealed the grass to get flowers. And got the flowers that I needed. Once again, went to the nether for more gold farming. Upon returning, had some new animals.
No! I wanted sheep. I saw the white and was like, sheep, yes, but it wasn't sheep. Urgh. Oh, it's both the other white animals that we need. We need the white animal that's boxy. What? They're all boxy.
I noticed that the wolves had actually killed a sheep.
Y'all killed a sheep? Oh my. They killed a sheep.
So I slaughtered their entire family, except for one, which I had tamed. Hit level 100 on XP.
Hey, level 100, boy.
Made a potentially very dangerous mistake, leaving blocks of dirt in the nether which mobs spawned on. Thankfully, I was able to handle that fairly easily. Got yelled at by the piglins again.
What are they doing? What are y'all? No, stop! That was so annoying.
So I killed them.
I really didn't want to kill him, but he was like freaking out. Should I have? Probably not. I really shouldn't have, actually, now that I think about it, because it was a pain to get him over here. But whatever. We can always get more.
Killing our piglin, we would definitely have to replace it, so I did exactly that, replacing him using the same method of using the boat to bring him over. I also even added another one, just to increase efficiency that much more. Honestly, I probably should have done this sooner, considering that I returned from the nether for the final time in this phase of the 100-day challenge, which I'm now referring to as the Gold Rush. as I was in constant need of gold to trade for the dirt that I needed to create this platform, which was now complete. Unfortunately, even with the platform complete, we still had yet to find those elusive sheep, but after doing some chores around the base, we would find yet another farm animal that had yet to be seen on this world. Cows!
Oh, we have cows to breed now. But still no sheep, bro. We need sheep.
So naturally, I created a small pen for them, lured them into it with some tasty wheat. Really a hole, which they would have a wonderful life, yeah. Please don't call PETA. Following this charitable act of giving those cows a luxurious pen, the world rewarded me for my kindness. Standing there, thinking of what I should do next while waiting for sheep to spawn, it happened, right in front of my eyes.
Sheep! Yes! Sheep, 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 sheep. Yes, sheep. We got sheep. Now I'm thinking what we do for the sheep is grab a bunch of fences, which we have a bunch of logs, so we're fine on that front. And just wall in this entire thing, almost. But we leave enough around the edge. Let's actually grab our wool now, because nice, we have 14 of each wool, or dye. I don't know if we're gonna use light that blue, but on the option. So I did just that, building around the entire pen with fences, making sure to leave a 1-block gap, allowing the grass to grow back in. Finishing off the pen, I ensured to add a fence gate so that we could actually get back inside. But thankfully, before I actually bred them, I remembered that dyeing them before you breed them would actually result in a baby sheep of the same color. Imagine if this worked in real life, just dyeing a sheep green and poof, you have a green baby sheep. Actually, never mind, that would be kind of scary, so let's not think about that. But we have sheep, that is actually huge for us, dude. If you guys couldn't tell, I need wool for one of the builds I'm doing, or the build we plan on doing, and that took us way too long to get, bro. I feel like, come on.
And when I say it took way too long to get wool, I mean it. We were already on day 49, and we had just gotten our wool farm started. But with the wool farm now created, it was time to enter a new phase of this 100 days, resource collection. Specifically, wool collecting. Tons and tons of wool. But before we would even be able to consider getting all of this wool that we would need, we would have to first breed our sheep a considerable amount, as we only had 3 adult sheep and 1 baby sheep at this point in time, bringing me to the conclusion that we would need wheat, and a lot of it. Now, I did this for quite some time, breeding and shearing the sheep, doing basic collecting chores while the timer for them to breed again went down, where I would once again breed the sheep and repeat this process. Matter of fact, this took so long that by the time I was complete, it was day 56, and that's just the breeding. We still had a lot more wool to collect for this build that I was trying to create. And remember, I'm not sleeping in this world, so I was breeding sheep for over 2 hours. Now, of course I didn't just sit around twiddling my thumbs, waiting for the sheep to breed, as that would be a pretty large waste of time. But I'm not going to bother showing all the chore work, as you guys have seen that. Just know, there was a bunch of tree cutting. However, there were a few notable things that I did during this time, consisting of returning to the nether and bridging in a random direction in hopes of finding a nether fortress. I added on to the sheep pen to allow better grass growth rates.
Alright, so this may look weird to you, like why would I have something inside the pen? Well, they should not be able to get to this grass, meaning that this will always act as a place for the grass to grow from. I hope it works. There's going to be a lot of sheep in here, so I'm going to need the grass regrowth rate as good as possible. So, yeah, we're going to try something with it.
Noticed a dripstone island.
Wait, that's a dripstone biome. Interesting. That will be very useful later on. I did not know we had that. Interesting. Good to know.
Built out to the birch island, cut the tree down, and grabbed a sapling. Even started a birch tree farm, as I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not in the build. Speaking of which, it was finally time to begin making actual progress on the build. Now, you won't be able to tell what the grand plan is for this build yet, but as you can see, it started with a wooden circle above my starting platform. This would eventually act as the first floor. And just a small fun fact about this circle is that it was actually centered at 0, 0 in the world. To be honest, that's more than a fun fact. It's kind of a hint as to kind of what this build is going to be when it's finished. But you'll have to wait to see the finished product, as it was sheep shearing time. Okay, I'm only kidding, but don't think that just since I'm working on the build now, that I have forgotten about the sheep, as I still didn't have enough to actually complete the build. Also, I can't be the only one who thinks this noise is so satisfying. I mean, just listen. On top of shearing the sheep, I also decided that I would begin cleaning up underneath the build, by removing the small farm that I'd used up to this point. More cleanup would come later, but for now, it was time to return to building. While working on the pillars around the build, I decided that I would trace out where the actual floor would be by laying down a cobblestone layer below where the actual floor would sit. This would act as almost a safety net for me if I ever needed to break any part of the main floor. However, while working on the floor, I noticed our cobblestone generator was in the way, so I quickly moved that out of the way and made some modifications to it using the very little amount of redstone that I had, making a slow but lossless cobblestone generator using an observer, a piston, and 2 pieces of redstone. And I'm sorry, yes, this thing is super loud as I just don't have enough redstone for any repeaters. With our new noise machine down, I was going to need quite a bit of stone bricks, so I placed down some new furnaces and instantly started using them to smelt cobblestone into stone, which I would craft into stone bricks. I even used the new cobblestone generator for the first time. Being forced to wait for the cobblestone to smelt, I decided that I'd be productive by doing some tree chopping, as the pillars had actually put a decent dent into my logs already, and I was still going to need a good amount more. Now, you may notice that after every tree, I disappear for a second or two, and that's because I was killing mobs in the mob farm, attempting to get more redstone. But once the stone finished smelting, the end of the tree chopping followed suit, as I now had a new task: to use the stone bricks to lay the foundations for the floor of this build. To save as many materials as possible, I decided that using slabs would be the best course of action, as while stone bricks weren't necessarily hard to obtain, they did take a fair amount of time to create, and on top of that, I still didn't have any great way of getting lots of cobblestone in a short period of time. And using slabs was definitely the right call, as I didn't even have enough using the slabs to complete the floor, meaning that I would once again have to put more cobblestone into the furnaces and wait to be able to make the remainder of the blocks needed. But this wasn't a huge issue, as there were some other tasks that needed tended to while this cobblestone smelted. Moving the complete mess of a storage system that I had over closer to the sheep, where not only would it be organized, but it'd also be more out of the way while working on this build. But we really had to get started working on this build, as we were already currently on day 65. And that may seem like we still have tons of time, but we have barely even scratched the surface of everything that I wanted to complete on this build. So I spent over 5 Minecraft days building the pillars, destroying the mob farm, and cleaning up other various bits around where the base would sit. This alone would bring us to day 70. Continuing to construct the pillars through day 70 and into day 71, where I would start the construction on the first of the domes that this build incorporated. Connecting the furthest and lowest of the pillars to the middle ring, which was very quickly followed by creating the uppermost dome to the building. These 2 domes would help create that grand feeling that I was striving for this build, as it was going to act as a centerpiece for this world. With the upper dome finished, it was time to start adding in some floors that would separate this building into a few different layers, completing the bottom floor first and then moving my way up the tower and finishing that floor next. But this floor wasn't finished yet, as not only did I have to add light to the wooden pillars, but I also had to add a small wall around the circle that would allow you to look out over the world, but reduce the risk of falling and meeting an unexpected demise. Moving down the ladder, I wanted to add some light to the pillars on the lower level, adding that warm feeling to this creation that it was really missing, as this tower is almost acting as the center of hope for this world. This took some time as I had to scaffold my way around all the pillars, ensuring that I could actually reach where I wanted to put the torches. Now, my personal reward for finishing this part of the build, stepping back and actually taking in what I had built, enjoying it for the first time. But notice how I said that it wasn't complete yet. And matter of fact, it's still a good ways from being fully complete, as we had whole entire sections that we haven't even been able to start yet. Taking a step back made me realize that the build still needed more torches, as I felt that it just didn't have enough. So I continued this process of bridging around inside the tower and placing torches. Let's just say by the end of this process, there were a fair few more torches in this build, which definitely helped bring it that brighter feel. But with the tower fully torched, I decided that I would take a break from building, and decided to bridge out to the dripstone island that I had noticed some time ago. Mining the entire island, I noticed a single copper ore in the center of the island. This being potentially the only copper ore in the entire world, I decided to leave it untouched, with hopes that I would eventually return with a silk touch pickaxe. However, the main reason why I had made the journey over to this island was so that I could create a lava generator, which would essentially give me access to unlimited lava. I would just have to wait a little bit for it, as these farms are typically very slow, and we only have one lava source bucket at the moment, meaning that we can only make one additional lava at a time right now. With the lava placed, it was time we went on a very dangerous journey, traveling into the nether in hopes of finding a nether fortress. Started building in another seemingly random direction, then realized that I already had a path heading in this direction. Yes, I saw the bridge before starting to build this one, and it had just clicked in my brain that it was actually there. Yes, I'm a little slow sometimes. So of course I backtracked and started down this path, as it would reach further in that direction. Then I saw it, a nether fortress.
Fortress! Let's go! Yes!
It had remained unseen in the earlier stages of this playthrough, as I had nether fog on. Fortunately for me, I had removed it since the last time I was over here. So, hey, cheers to that, I guess, right? And let's just be honest, we all hate nether fog anyways, and it would have taken forever and a half to find this thing with it on. So, I'm glad I had no nether fog for this. I really, truly am. Oh my lord, that is intimidating as hell. Oh no, that's gonna be hell. Oh lord. That is intimidating. Oh my, bro. Intimidating as the nether fortress was, it was still unfortunate that I ran out of building materials on this journey, meaning that I would have to return to the overworld. And thankfully I returned when I did, as we had a forest fire on a platform made 90% out of wood. No, our forest is on fire! No, 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 no. Yeah, this could have been a very large issue. Chop the tree, chop the tree. Thankfully, we were able to fend off the fire without too many issues. Stop the fire. Alright, that should be enough. That should stop it. With that potentially close call out of the way, it was time to make our way back into the nether and finish bridging towards the nether fortress. But its inhabitants didn't want me there, and while building my way across, a blaze shot at me. And let's just say he scared the bejesus out of me. Oh, run! Run, Nazi, run! Ow, that scared the crap out of me. Interesting. Okay, so they can shoot from there. Oh. I gotta despawn them. Thankfully, I had a plan to despawn them. Running out of their render distance for a short time would essentially delete all of the mobs in the fortress, and it worked. Fantastically, actually, as upon our arrival, there were much fewer mobs waiting for us. This would allow us to not only reach the Nether Fortress, but also start the process of widening the path, as I didn't want to risk either falling or getting shot off my platform while coming up or going from the fortress. Matter of fact, I did this until I ran out of blocks, where I returned to the overworld to get more, and finished this path starting from the other end this time though. With the path created, it was time to begin our journey into the fortress, where we would start by digging a staircase from our platform, until we hit the inside of the fortress's walls. With us inside, I decided to try and set myself up a little safety area. In reality, all that this was a place that wither skeletons couldn't enter, due to me placing blocks so that they couldn't access the area directly around my staircase. But with a small safe area established, it was time to start fighting the mobs. After killing that small batch of mobs, we actually found netherwort, pretty much right next to where we built our staircase up.
Netherwort. We'll just grab like half of it. That way, if we do die, I don't plan on dying, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
And after a few more kills, we actually found something even more valuable. Diamonds!
Our first diamonds! I don't know what we're gonna spend these on, but we'll have to make sure we use them carefully.
Following that great find, it was once again back to the kill. As we looked around the fortress, eventually finding a second chest, followed shortly by a third and a fourth. Sadly, none of them really had anything super noteworthy, but with the 4 chests and enough blaze rods, it was time to leave the Nether Fortress and return home.
Alright. Pretty good haul. We only got 3 diamonds, unfortunately, from 4 chests, but hey.
Returning home with our newly acquired loot, it was time to craft a brewing stand, which, to be honest, was one of the main reasons that we actually went on this journey. So that way one of them could become a cleric. But for now, it was time to continue adventuring and bridge our way out to a new island, bridging out to the desert island. Now, this may seem fairly random, but I had a specific goal in mind when I set out on this journey. To achieve this goal, I would not only need the sand, but I would also need the cactus. With a grand total of 3 cactus and 16 sand, it wasn't completely ideal for what we had to do. But at least the 16 sand would allow us to somewhat farm more cactus, which is exactly what I set up, a very rudimentary cactus farm, where I'd have to break the cactus myself for the best chances of actually getting it. As if I tried to automate this process, a lot of the cactus would actually just jump into the cactus, deleting itself. Cactus now growing, it was once again time to focus on our building project, where I would start the process of adding these almost ring-like structures along the outer edge of this build site. Now obviously, this would take some time, as these rings were fairly large and would take a good amount of materials. Hence why I had to farm more spruce wood while building them out. And I kind of find it funny because by the time this is complete, you won't even be able to see this layer of spruce planks. Editing noisy here. And yes, that one spruce plank on the first dome roof is just as annoying to me as it is to you. And for those who didn't notice it, I'm sorry, because now it's probably all you're gonna see. My bad! Now, those of you who are fairly astute may have noticed that while I was constructing these rings, I was actually making sure to break and place the cactus whenever I noticed that some had grown. And during one of these trips, I noticed that we had yet another forest fire.
No! Forest fire! No! No! Cactus first. Team Cactus. Not Team Trees. Team Cactus for the win. Oh no. Wait. Team Forest. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh. Forest fire is what's going on. Oh! Almost fell in the void because of that. Why are you catching fire? All the fire should be out. Alright then. That wasn't scary at all.
With that forest fire dealt with, I noticed not only the potential reason for said fire, but the product of our lava farm, being, well, lava, had filled the cauldron and was ready to pick up. However, in a positive light, we were finally able to trade for our first redstone, at least from a villager. And being a way more reliable way of actually obtaining it, this would greatly help in the future, with the creation of any farms that I want to make.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have redstone. Let's go.
Maxing out this trade leveled the cleric up and made me remember about a trade that could also be potentially useful in the future, as it would be our only way of acquiring lapis, at least in mass.
Ooh, and lapis. I forgot about that trade.
Which brings me to a good point. If you have made it to this point in the video and haven't left a like, I would greatly appreciate this act, as I'm a smaller creator, and every like really does help out in reaching more people. And if this video gets over 500 likes, I will be doing another 100 days on this world, which, don't forget, will also be available for download on my Patreon. After this short period of time, my goldfish brained self had already forgotten about the forest fire that had literally just happened, and decided that expanding the lava farm would be a good idea. I guess we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I also decided to make it so that the dripstone farm would actually work. This just required me to place water above the setup that I already had, similar to the lava farm. After making it so that this farm would work, I decided that I was going to play around with the cobblestone generator and try and make it more efficient, as the one currently in use, well, let's just say was very slow. Also, this took way too long of me just playing around with redstone, which, let's be honest, I'm not great at, before I eventually just gave up and looked up a common design for a lossless cobblestone generator online, which of course I had to use for at least some time, not really enough to consider this a mining session, but you know. Now you guys may have also noticed during that time lapse I had actually begun using the green dye to dye the sheep, allowing me to get the green wool that I would need to complete the build, as my original plan involved using grass, but we all know how long that took for the farm area. Also, this is why I gathered the cactus. It's not like it's one of its only uses or something, so surprise I guess? Just a small editor's note here, I forgot to press record for days 85 through 91, so all I have footage-wise is the replay mods, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. On day 85, I alternated between shearing sheep, mining cobblestone, and cutting down trees, with the occasional break to farm and smelt the cactus. This way I can make more green sheep, thus making the shearing faster. On day 86, literally all that I did was shear sheep, while maintaining the occasional break to farm and smelt the cactus. On day 87, I farmed some wool, cut some trees, and finally started placing the wool down very close to the end of the night. Placing this first layer of green wool down would take me into day 88, where I continued placing wool until I ran out just as the sun started to set. Out of wool, I sheared sheep until about 3/4 of the night had gone by, and then continued placing wool into day 89, where I once again ran out of wool as the sun rose. On day 89, I cut down some trees, continued shearing sheep, and placed down more wool until I once again ran out just to return to collecting wool once again. Day 90 started off by cutting more trees, keeping up with the wool collection, and finally finishing placing the wool down. Added a ring of smooth stone around the outside of the wool, added fences on top of this new layer, and started marking out some paths within the rings going in each cardinal direction. Day 91 started by planting trees randomly around the quote-unquote grass ring. After planting these saplings, I bone mealed them to adulthood, reclaimed some of the grass from the farm, which I scattered around the rings. Then I noticed that I hadn't been recording any of this. Here's my reaction to this revelation. Oh my god. I don't know how long I haven't been recording. Oh no. I hadn't been recording the whole time, bro. No. Oh no. No, I missed day 85 to 91 pretty much. Crap.
At least I have the in-game footage, but still that sucks. Oh man, that sucks, bro. Alright, we must continue. Oh well, it's what it is. Can't do nothing about it.
After noticing that I hadn't been recording, I decided that I would start to add some foliage around this field. I did this by stealing grass from the sheep farm, replacing it with dirt, and scattered these grass blocks around. Then proceeded to add various flowers and grass on top of these grass blocks. Finishing up with the flowers, I decided that I'd be able to spice it up even more if I added some rocks, breaking up the sea of green. I scattered these rocks all around, adding different shapes and sizes to ensure some level of variation amongst them.
Alright, so I want to quickly get up a little temporary what's it called? Chicken farm. Now the reason for this, I mean, it doesn't really help us, but I kind of want some fireworks for day 100. And to my knowledge, or to my now newly found knowledge, it takes feathers, and I did not know this. Luckily we have a few, but we don't have many at all. So yeah, we're gonna have to set up a little temporary chicken farm. We're also going to throw hoppers in it, which we're out of, unfortunately. That way we can pick up the eggs as well, so we can do this again in the future. But yeah, the base I think is looking amazing right now. There's still a few more features I would like to add before, well, we're out of time for the 100 days. There's still a few more features I want to add that I think will make it pop even more. So yeah, we're have a few features to add, but I want to get this chicken farm up and running as soon as possible. That way, you know, it starts running, we can start getting the chickens up and bred, and because the more chickens we have, well, the better the fireworks show. So yeah.
Once I had thrown all the eggs that I had to use water to get the chickens to swim, allowing me to force feed them seeds, cutting the time that it would take for them to grow up.
Yes, my buddies, yes, eat all the seeds. We just want these guys to grow up as quick as possible, honestly. I think a stack and a half across this many chickens is plenty. So 1, 2, 3, I can't tell with this. How many chickens? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 chickens. Why'd I say it like that? I don't know. It was fun. That's why.
With the chickens down and growing, it was once again that time, where we would work on the build and add the thing that I just felt it was still missing.
Now, the thing I wanted to add was actually, I wanted to add some blue into here, right? So I wanted to add some just small little water features, maybe like small ponds, something like this, you know? Nothing too large, just small little ponds I feel like will help bring this area alive, except for we have to be careful while placing this stuff because slabs don't like water. It's actually hard. It's going to be hard to see the water from above. So what we're going to do is add a weird little feature to make the water maybe stick out just a little bit more. We're going to take some of our good old blue wool that we have over here and artificially darken the color of the water. Now, something like this could also be done with like a glass, but well, I don't have access to sand at the moment, or access to a large amount of sand for that, so I can't do that at the moment.
Breaking away the slabs that existed under the water and then replacing it with blue wool was definitely a good call.
I feel like that'll help make the water pop just a little more in the areas that we do it.
even encouraging me to add in other water features around the yard.
Maybe even have like a little river type deal that comes down this way. I probably should wait so it doesn't break all my stuff.
Following the same effect of using the blue wall under the water to give it that darker feel. Now, I just as well could have used all the light wool that I had. I just felt the blue would have fit a little better, as I feel like the light blue would have brought it a more tropical feeling, which isn't quite what we're looking for here. You guys may have already seen this during that quick time lapse, but I figured I'd mention it for anyone who potentially missed it, as I had bred the chickens a few times, giving me a few more than I previously had.
Breed, chickens, breed! Yes, breed! Where'd my water bucket go? I don't even know where I put it. There you go.
Following adding the patches of water to the field, I decided that I was going to do some tree chopping, as I was still going to need to do a lot of trading to get all the redstone that I would need for the final project in this 100 days, the fireworks show. Of course, on my way over there, I had to breed my lovely chickens, though.
Yes, chickens! Breed! Ha 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 ha! Give me your eggs! And your feathers. Very soon. It's day 96, crap.
As you may have heard me there, it was now day 96, meaning we still had to set up an entire fireworks show in just 4 days, which seems pretty easy, until you realize that not only do I not have any fireworks, but I also don't have any of the redstone components that would be needed. So yeah, I had my work cut out for me. And I apologize if the next little bit is all over the place. I was definitely in a rush to finish this. A rush that would come to bite me in the butt very soon. But you will just have to wait and see how. Knowing that one villager trading us redstone would most definitely not be enough, I crafted yet another brewing stand, effectively doubling our redstone output, which I immediately brought over to the trading hall and traded with the new cleric. This wouldn't be nearly the amount of redstone that we would need, but it was still a small step in the right direction. Now, this trading session wasn't quite over yet, as I bought a diamond sword and 2 looting 2 books, as I would need this for relocating the chickens. Combining the 2 books and then adding them to the sword, I headed over to the chicken pen to breed them. What did you think I was gonna do? Sadly though, they weren't actually ready to breed, so I just continued on my way. Yes, I was on my way to trade for more redstone. I did tell you that I was going to need quite a bit more to actually set up this whole fireworks show. After completing these redstone trades, it was back to chopping trees for me, which I quickly chopped an additional 4 spruce trees just to once again go and trade with the villagers. It almost feels like a gambling addiction. I go to work getting paid in logs, then instantly go trade the sticks made from these logs into redstone. Although this time, I also made another purchase, glowstone, and I know that it seems pretty weird, but it is one of the ingredients for one of the types of fireworks that I planned on making for the fireworks show. This being said, the recipe doesn't need the actual blocks of glowstone, rather just the dust, so I used my fortune pick just to get as much as possible. With one part of the fireworks acquired, it was time to start finding some of the other parts needed. So I raided my flowers chest, and turned them into a bunch of various dyes and transferred them to an alternate location, where I'd end up prepping all of the fireworks stuff.
This will be the temporary firework box. Or firework prep box, rather, we'll say. Because it'll have redstone, the repeaters, and the dispensers, and all that good stuffs, too.
Yes, we were able to acquire a few of the necessary resources for this grand show, but we were still working on getting one crucial resource ready.
Breed my chickens, yes, breed! This is going to be so many feathers, and I'm all here for it.
Even without killing the chickens, I did have some feathers laying around from various tasks throughout this video. Using these, I started to make some fireworks stars of various colors and designs that we could use eventually in the fireworks show. Not thinking that this would be enough, I decided to kill some of the chickens that I had bred, using an axe for whatever reason without looting like an absolute dummy.
Let's kill just a few of the chickens.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think this one through all the way.
We just need a few feathers to finish off what we need.
Thankfully, I realized my mistake after checking the chest, and actually started to use the Looting 3 sword that I had made exactly for this purpose, resulting in much more feathers than using the axe. Following this new influx of feathers, I decided to create even more of a variety of fireworks stars, adding upon to what I already had. Crafting fireworks stars into the morning of day 97, meaning we only had 3 days remaining. After depleting a large amount of our chickens for the fireworks stars that we had, it was definitely time we put some life back into this pen. Closing in on the night of day 97, we had to start working on the fireworks shooting system, or we may never even get this fireworks show that we have been waiting so long for. Crafting dispensers and placing them all around the field would allow us to plan our redstone paths around them. Starting this redstone path near where I would sit during this fireworks show with a simple lever that would spiral down the ladder, eventually reaching the floor, where I would set up a basic timer using repeaters. From here, I could branch out, going in various directions and using various amounts of delay so that all the dispensers wouldn't go off all at once. Bridging over various paths and waterways would allow me to eventually reach all these dispensers as well. Yes, I'm aware that this is by far the most effective way of doing this, but hey, as long as it works in the end, I don't really care. Now, this whole redstone process of setting up the fireworks show took way longer than what you just saw, as I can't even count on one hand the amount of times that we ran out of redstone working on this circuit. So much so that I even stole the repeaters off the cobblestone farm, ensuring that I would meet this deadline.
You know what? We're gonna break this down. This is how important it is to me.
Finally, finishing just before the sun rose on day 99.
I believe this is the last one. It's not. Yes, it is. Phantoms, of course the phantoms want to come and aggravate us.
After laying in the bed and getting rid of the phantoms, it was time to gather the rest of our feathers from our 100% humane feather farm.
I appreciate your contribution, chickens. Y'all have served your empire well. You've served the empire well. Let's see how well you served. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 69? Wait, no, that's not 69. That's 79. 79 feathers. That's plenty. That is more than enough.
Using these feathers to craft a ton more various fireworks stars of different colors, types, and effects, all I knew is that this fireworks show was going to be great. But do you remember how I said in a rush my brain forgot one of, if not the most important steps in this whole process? Yeah, I forgot to actually turn the fireworks stars into actual fireworks, placing them relatively strategically around the dispensers in hopes of having various colors and designs spread around. Just watching this makes me feel so sad, as this is just a massive blunder on my part, but I wouldn't even realize it till later.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We missed 2. We're up. I feel like we're missing one. I don't know where it is though. Let's throw that in there. I don't know. We're just gonna start throwing the extras in various ones.
As sad as it makes me, I do find it kind of funny how much care I put into actually filling the dispensers for it to just be wasted by a dumb mistake caused by rushing.
Alright, everybody. The system is set up. Oh, man. I think we've done pretty dang well, if I say so myself. Let's go ahead and... You know what? Let's dye our dog's collar. What colors do we have left after the whole ordeal? I don't know if we have many. I don't know how much we really have. We have just a little bit of time, though. Because the fireworks show will be at the end of day... I think we're going to do the fireworks show at the end of day 100. To celebrate. Instead of the beginning, when it just turns to day 100, I think we're going to wait till the very end of day 100.
Waiting on day 100 to fall and reach nighttime, I decided to spend my entire time trading with villagers, getting some new armor as mine had broke some time back when I was farming all that cactus and dyeing sheep green.
Back to our full diamond armor. Let's go, baby! Finally, right? It's been a while.
Spent some time reflecting.
The final night of the series, or not the series, because just a sneak peek, if you made it this far in the video, I plan on doing another 100 days. I have so many big plans for this world. You'll just have to stay tuned for some of the ideas I have, though, because they are big.
Dyed my dog's collar.
Cyan. Honestly, one of my favorite colors in this game. Other than, well, you know, my new favorite color. Orange. What's you guys' favorite colors, by the way, in Minecraft? Obviously, you guys know mine. Cyan and orange. What is you guys' favorite dye color in Minecraft? If you made it this far in the video, let me know, man. Let me know. Also, don't forget to name this little guy. He needs a name. And as I said, we plan on doing more in this world. So please, let me know your name suggestions down below. As there's much more to come. We're not done yet. Still have a day. Still have 20 minutes. But wow, I can't wait for the fireworks show. It's gonna be hopefully good. I've never actually done a fireworks show in Minecraft. So hopefully it's pretty decent.
Tried mining cobblestone, but failed, as, well, I had torn up the redstone.
Oh, I forgot. I took the redstone from here. Whoops. I was like, wait, why is it not working? I took the redstone from it.
Started chopping trees. Spent more time reflecting.
Man, isn't that beautiful? 100 days, too. We've been pretty efficient, I would say. Now, I do wish that we could have used grass or moss blocks for the bowl, but there's just no way. We don't have moss. I have not found moss, and it would have taken a ridiculous amount of dirt, so there is no way we would have been able to complete it by now. So we had to kind of cheat, you know. But hey, it is what it is. Still looks pretty dang good, if I say so myself.
Counting down day 100.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Day 100, boys, ladies and gents. The final day is upon us. Not gonna lie, I have chills right now. Like, this past week has been kind of insane. Like, IRL. It's been insane. I'll explain it near the end of the video, but man, is it a relief to be on day 100.
And rushed up to the tower and waited for nightfall.
Alright, it's time to go up the tower for the final time as we look back on all that we've created, man.
Watched the sunset on day 100.
This is the end of it all, man. Sunset. Day 100.
And then it was time.
Alright, everybody. I think it's time for the fireworks show. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't, I will be very, very sad. Moment of truth. We shall see. Why is it not working? No! I'm so dumb. No, I didn't put rockets in it. Oh. Crap. Okay, we gotta hurry. Y'all are getting a fireworks show in this episode.
Now, I'm not gonna bore you with most of the firework creation and implementation, I guess I could call it, but I just want you guys to see how close this was to actually being very detrimental and probably having to be delayed. You know what I'm saying? Just watch and you'll see.
Oh, we've messed up.
Crap.
Oh no, I used all my paper on regular rockets, bro. No. There's no way I did that. I don't have any more I don't have enough sugarcane. Because I need to keep some. Crap. So we don't have a sugarcane farm at the moment.
Yeah, that was pretty close. But let's be honest, even if I didn't have enough sugarcane, I probably would have just delayed the day count a little bit, like 2-3 days, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm gonna give you guys a fireworks show. But I did quickly replenish all the dispensers. I don't want to keep you guys here for that and bore you guys. So here's the fireworks show that you guys have all been waiting for. Thank you so much for just watching this video if you made it to this point. It's been a journey. I will say that. It has been one hell of a journey creating this video. I will say I've definitely learned a lot from the creative process of actually creating this video. And I just want to say thank you to all my longtime supporters that know how long this has actually been in the works. Because a lot of days, there was a long time. This video has been in process for so long. It's embarrassing how long it's been in process. But especially with the new year, I've been trying to focus a lot more on it. This video wasn't even half complete. I think I was on day like 30 by the time the new year started. So I've been working pretty consistently, decently on this video, and I just want to say hopefully this year brings some great stuff for the channel. Anyways guys, hope you guys enjoy the video. Noisy Ninja, out. Oh, and one last thing. One final thank you to a viewer of mine for taking the time out of their day and submitting some artwork for this video for absolutely free. So thank you for your contribution. If you have any artwork that you would like me to feature in next episode, please make sure to post it in my Discord channel.